Let us now take a look at how we can extend the functionality of Redux by using something called as middleware. And if you want Redux with some extra feature, then middleware is the solution which we can use to add custom functionality to our Redux. For example, let's say I want to make an asynchronous call to some API. So now the question is, where do we make an asynchronous API call in Redux? Because inside the store, we are having our reducer. Definitely, inside reducer, we cannot write any asynchronous operation code because our reducers are pure functions, which means we cannot write any code which is having some side effect. And also, our Redux store is not aware how to perform this asynchronous logic. It only knows how to synchronously dispatch action and update the state. And once the state is updated, our component will be re-rendered. So this is the task of store, and there is no way possible inside the store we can write any asynchronous logic. So the simple answer would be any asynchronous operation like API call or anything that has to be performed outside the reducer. And we already know reducers are present inside the store, and once we dispatch the action, based on the action, reducer will pick up the action and accordingly it will update the state. But inside the reducer, we cannot write any asynchronous logic. An entire asynchronous operation code has to be written outside the reducer. So now the question is, should we fetch the data inside the component and then dispatch an action to the store with the data which we have received from our component? Yes, this is definitely possible. We can write asynchronous logic inside the component and then dispatch the action. But fetching the API data inside the component is not an ideal solution. Why? Because we should keep our components clean and we should not write entire asynchronous code inside the component. So it is very important to understand our entire data fetching logic has to be encapsulated all in one place, and it should not be spread throughout our application. So again, now the question is, if we are not writing the logic inside the store and if we are not writing the logic inside the component, then where should we perform our asynchronous action? Well, that's where our middleware will come into picture. So in Redux, middleware is nothing but it is a function that sits between dispatching the action and store. In simple terms, it basically provides third-party extension and which will allow us to run the code after dispatching but before reaching the reducer in the store. So middleware will be sitting between dispatching the action and the store. And usually after we dispatch, the action immediately reaches the reducer and then state is updated. But with middleware, we can do something with the action before the action actually gets into the reducer. This means middleware allows developers to run some code after dispatching an action but before action reaches the reducer in the store. So therefore, this is the perfect place for writing our asynchronous code, and we can easily make our asynchronous API call. We can write logic for setting timers and logging something inside the console. We can also do crash reporting, pausing and cancelling the action, and also it is perfect place for side effects. So this middleware is one stop for side effects in the Redux cycle. Now, from where does we get this middleware? Well, we can actually write middleware functions by ourselves, but we are going to use some third-party packages. So in this course, we are going to see some of the middlewares and we will understand what the syntax is and how middleware will be working in Redux.